Very easy to do. First thing you do, always, where is the breakdown occurring first? In the gut. Where does it occur in the gut? In the heart of the gut, the core of the gut, which is the microbiome. The microbiome is the fancy way of saying this universe of bacteria that live in the gut. That's where it all begins. They're making vitamins, they're clearing fats, they're processing cholesterol, they're detoxifying hormones, they're a source of genetic material, they're repairing the intestinal lining, they're helping us eliminate, have bowel movements. Do you see how vital this is? Yeah. Get on the best probiotic supplement you can find. First, no matter what your degenerative disease crisis is, first get on your best probiotic supplement you can find. Now, I'm going to say a lot of firsts and seconds and thirds, but really, it's not like these are in a priority kind of, hierarchical priority kind of structure. They're all important and you've got to do them all. But the gut is where it all breaks down, the digestive system is where, or the microbiome is where it really begins. So correcting the microbiome is along with a few other things, the first thing you want to do. Good probiotic supplement number one, start eating fermented food, miso, tempeh, kefir, fermented beets. Get a book called The Art of Fermentation. It's real easy. There's a lot of books. Wild fermentation. I like those two a lot because they're easy to read. There's lots of recipes. It's easy to make your own fermented food, whatever. Focus on the microbiome, the gut, no matter what your health challenge is, no matter what it is, or if you simply want to stay healthy. And at the same time, you want to make the environment hospitable for those bacteria so they can proliferate and so they can grow. And that means, for one, being very careful with antibiotics and antibiotic food. Don't take antibiotics unless you absolutely need to, because antibiotics will kill off the probiotics. This is something I discovered when I was working for Kmart. People come back after their antibiotic therapy, they have digestive problems or yeast infections or all kinds of signs of dysbiosis. So if you're eating lots of fish, dairy, meat that has antibiotics in it, make extra certain that you're using fermented foods and probiotics. Use dairy protein. Dairy protein, especially the square beef. You guys are doing the longevity process of the Beyond Organics. This is one of Jordan Rubin's, and Jordan Rubin is absolutely ridiculously brilliant. That guy's brilliant. But what he understood was the power of dairy. He understands the power of dairy. Dairy can be incredibly powerful. Unfortunately, it isn't, because of how we eat and the way we process our foods. It's not as powerful as it could be. So what we have in longevity is some very powerful dairy products, fermented dairy products. Fermented dairy is very important for a lot of reasons, but it's especially important for creating an appropriate environment for the bacteria to proliferate in. This is one of the jobs of breast milk, and that's what dairy is, right? It's breast milk. So making sure you're doing correct dairy can be a great way to support the health of the microbiome, the health of the intestines. Staying away from antibiotics is another strategy. Then there's ways that you can protect the digestive system's integrity. One of the most important is Z radical, or fucoidan Z. That's one of the fucoidan's most important benefits, is it helps coat and soothe the digestion. It has multiple benefits. We'll talk about that in a second. For the digestive system, it coats and soothes the digestive system. This is for all degenerative diseases. Z radical, fermented foods, whey products, dairy products. Build the strength and the integrity of the digestive tract. Bone soup. You ever hear me talk about bone soup, right? One of bone soup's most important benefits is the cartilage that's on the knob of chicken bones, or whatever kind of bones you're using, will dissolve into the liquid, and then the cartilage factors in the liquid have an amazing soothing and healing quality on the intestinal tract. Here's a little tip for you. Anything that's good for arthritis is also going to be good for your intestinal tract. Why Sharks Don't Get Cancer. You guys remember that book? Who remembers that book? Nobody? You remember it? That was from the 80s. That's right. You guys are way young, huh? No, come on. You guys remember Why Sharks Don't Get Cancer. The point being that cartilage sharks are cartilaginous animals. They've got lots of cartilage. Cartilage is really interesting stuff, and it turns out there's a lot of medicinal value to cartilage. Ancient people have known about this for years. They were always gnawing the bones, they gnaw on the cartilage, animals will gnaw on the cartilage. Cartilage products became incredible medicine for healing. For the chicken soup for colds, everybody's heard of that, chicken soup for colds, that's the whole notion. Well, it turns out that anything that's good for arthritis is good for your digestive system, and anything that's good for your immune system is also going to be good for your digestive system. Because your digestive system and your immune system are basically the same. What does your immune system do? It defends us, it protects us. Do you think it makes sense that we have a protection and defensive system housed in the digestive tract? Of course it does. This is why all immune diseases begin in the gut. Any immune issue begins in the gut because the gut is where your immune system is. And there's satellites in your skin and in various parts of your body, but the headquarters is in the digestive system, as would make perfect sense. So anyway, cartilage products and anything that's going to be good for your digestive system, for your immune system, is also going to be good for your digestive system. Building the digestive tract with fucoid Z, Z radical, glucosamine, cartilage, gelatin. There are other specific nutrients that can be helpful for the digestive tract. Protein is extremely important, and ironically, what happens when the digestive system breaks down? Those very nutrients don't get into the body. And this is where that downward spiral becomes worse. Your digestive system breaks down, you miss the nutrients for building the digestive system, your digestive system breaks down more, you miss the nutrients that build the digestive system, your digestive system breaks down more, etc., etc. But that's good news, because once you can break that cycle by giving yourself the nutrients, everything will stop and fall into place. So you focus on the gut first. Focus on the gut first. Simultaneous with all of this, you want to keep the flow of toxins from getting into the body, which means becoming observant and vigilant and noticing the relationship between your symptoms and your foods. You do not need a doctor for this. You do not need me for this. You do not need anybody for this. Everything I'm telling you about, you can do yourself, and you should be doing it yourself. In fact, when people call me on the phone, you know what I'm saying? I always say, you want to make sure you get yourself a notebook, right? Who I said this to? Everybody in this room. You get yourself a notebook, and you start to write down everything you eat, and then how you feel every 2 hours, every 4 hours, every 6 hours, every 8 hours, all the way up to 12 hours. You track. And I do this for a reason. Number one, because you're going to get a lot of information that you'll be blown away by if you're dealing with a degenerative disease, because we tune out. We don't notice these things. So number one, I tell people this because you want to get data, but number two, I tell people this because I want you participating. That's why I'm very vague sometimes, and sometimes people get a little upset with me, you know, because I don't give you all every single thing. Take 200 milligrams of this and 100 milligrams of that and call me in the morning. All right? That's not how this works. You're in charge. This is your body. I can guide you and I can coach you, and I want to guide you and coach you. It's an honor to guide you and coach you, but this is your job. You don't need a doctor for any of this. You don't need me for any of this. You're self-contained. By the way, Dr. Wallach noticed this. He called the company American Longevity. That's how he started it. Because number one, he's about longevity. He lives until 120 and 140. But number two, he's about America, which represents freedom and independence and not being chained to anybody's model or belief system. That's what it's all about, right? So we've lost track of that. So this is a model. This is everything I'm telling you about. You don't need me. I'm irrelevant here. I'm glad to coach you, but you can do all of this yourself. And that's why I tell people on the phone, get yourself a notebook and start writing things down. Why? Number one, you're going to get a lot of data, but number two, I want you participating. And for you guys doing the longevity business, I suggest you do that as well with your clients. You want your clients, you want your patients participating in their recovery. You want them being part of, you want them doing it, not just participating, but doing it. Okay, so you keep a food diary. You notice what your problem foods are, and it always helps to eat very simply while you're doing this, not eat complex foods. In fact, one trick you could do if you can't really control your eating behavior or your food addictions, just spend all day eating your favorite food. See what you find out. Ice cream's a good one. All day, 3 pints, whatever, indulge. It's science. It's all for science. All in the name of science. Do it for information. Okay? You may pay the price the next day, but you'll get a lot of valuable information. That will tell you something, seriously. Now, that's not the kindest thing to do to your body, but that'll work. The point is you want to start to assess what you're doing that's causing the problem. Do you see? It's what we want to begin to see our complicity, our participation, and also where we can change. It's about options. I'm not a food Nazi, remember? I'm not a food Nazi. It's all about options. God loves us all. No matter what we eat, no matter what we look like, no matter what disease we have, we're all blessed, the way I look at it. Okay? I don't judge anybody for anything, nor should you. I say, if you happen to see me or anybody else eating whatever, that's fine. The point is we have options. We're sick, we want to see where we're participating in this, where we're complicit, where we're doing something, and just know. So you get a food diary, you do all the digestive strategies, you do a food diary, and practice something called intermittent fasting. And the Swear V products allow you to do this very effectively, right? I talked to a guy yesterday, he said he fasted for 30 days. Said the first day it was a little difficult, by the second day he didn't want to eat. And he had a hard time eating at the end. And I hear it all the time. This is what you'll find. You see, the main point of entry of the disease process, or the main The genesis of the disease process is the point of entry at the gut. Once there's nothing in the gut, toxins don't get in the body begins to heal. That's where intermittent fasting comes in. This is where caloric restriction comes in. Caloric restriction is one of the most powerful strategies you can do for long life. It's been shown in study after study after study. Something as simple as caloric restriction. Yesterday somebody, you know what I mean? Reducing your calories can increase longevity. Yesterday somebody showed me an article from Life Extension magazine. You ever seen Life Extension magazine? Anybody?
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool magazine, but there's always something they're selling at the end of the article. So I know you never know what to take seriously, but they do like drugs. And this guy's talking about one of the things Life Extension is all about now is a diabetes drug for longevity. It's called metformin. Have you ever heard this?
Yeah.
A diabetes. Why? Because it makes your body more sensitive, more responsive to sugar. Well, intermittent fasting is the fastest way without drugs to make your body more responsive to sugar. By restricting your calories and intermittent fasting, you will increase your longevity and decrease your inflammation and begin to allow the body to activate the healing process. You don't need a doctor. You don't need metformin. You don't need anything. You can do this yourself. You'll save money. People are like, oh, I can't afford it. No. Caloric restriction, you'll save money.